In my last 100 days, my beloved Raptors and I took on the island, successfully beating the Broodmother, Megapithecus and Dragon, before finally taking down the Tech Cave and ascending the Ark. If you haven't watched that video yet, it might be worth giving it a watch first, as in the next 100 days, we will aim to take down ARK Scorched Earth, Ragnarok and Aberration with the very same Raptors. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to help me out by leaving a like on the video, and of course subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, of course, come and give me a follow on Twitch, I'm now back there streaming regularly. Day 1. And Lightning McQueen and I visited the desert wasteland of Scorched Earth for a nice summer vacation. We wasted no time at all and immediately set off in search of our first artifact, which can be found in the church cave. The entry hallways were pretty bare yet, as not many hostiles had spawned, so I had a pretty easy time as I managed to reach the quite nerve-wracking jumps over the death pits, but this wasn't enough to stop us. After reaching the artifact chamber, we took out some mantises while waiting for the artifact to spawn. Eventually it did, and we collected the artifact of the destroyer, the first of 3 artifacts we needed, and we had barely been on Scorched Earth half an hour. We still, however, had to get out of the cave, and by now the game had finally decided to spawn correctly, and previously the nicely clear hallways were now full of hostiles. As I neared the exit, I did spot this yellow drop with some nice looking Ascendant cloth boots, which I just couldn't turn down. So I fought my way back through the waves of enemies, quickly grabbed the drop, and exited out of the cave, back into the wasteland. Next up was the artifact of the Gatekeeper, which was located in the cave near Red Obelisk, on the opposite side of the map. As I had McQueen though, it didn't take me too long to make it over there, and getting around Scorched was certainly easier than the time that I'd beat this map with just mantises. The artifact of the Destroyer is a very neat looking cave with drawings on the wall, and plenty of space for breeding if you ever wanted to make it your home. However, it didn't represent much of a challenge for me and McQueen, as for some reason this cave doesn't seem to spawn many dinos, and we soon zoomed to the bottom of the cave to collect our prize. On the way out, I looted a cave drop, which gave me a Mastercraft Desert Cloth BP, and we then exited the cave. The last artifact would be slightly more challenging. But first, Merlin and I are here today to tell you about today's sponsor. That's right, it's Raid Shadow Legends. Now, I know you've all heard the name, but I bet you have no idea what you're missing out on here. I'm talking a super in-depth RPG battle system, hundreds of champions to collect, and some of the most intense PvE boss fights that I've ever witnessed. Come on then, let me tell you a bit more. One of the toughest bosses in Raid Shadow Legends is the Hydra, with multiple different heads, each one a complete boss battle. It sounds crazy, so let's see what you're up against. The head of the Blights will poison you, leech you, and then protect itself with a poison cloud. The head of Torment is absolutely terrifying and can only be stopped by Veil buffs. Meanwhile, the head of Mischief loves those buffs and wants them all for itself. The head of Wrath is a super angry damage dealer, which you need to be extremely careful around, while the head of Decay will make your own team's healing actually lower their own HP. Lastly, the head of Suffering is the Hydra's main tank head, which causes your champions to take damage whenever you attack it. But I know that even the Hydra are not powerful enough to take on the whole Rampy Army. Isn't that right? If you are new to Raid Shadow Legends, you can get your hands on Stag Knight, one of the best epic champions around, as well as a skin for said Stag Knight designed by John Chon. Just use the promo code JTSKIN before October the 7th. But it doesn't stop there. You can also get a free legendary champion. To get this champion, simply log into Raid on 7 different days between August the 22nd and October the 23rd to get yourself Sun Wukong, Raid's take on the mischievous Monkey King. The good news is still not over though, as by using my link in the description or the QR code on screen, you will get some insane bonuses to help you get started. We're talking an epic champion and some incredibly useful items such as energy refills and XP boosters. So what are you waiting for? Download Raid Shadow Legends using my link in the description or my QR code on screen now. Thank you so much to Raid Shadow Legends for supporting this video and allowing Merlin to have his daily dental chew. Located in the cave near Blue Obelisk Mountain, I first had to deal with this Yeti which was outside the cave, which I was of course very fearful of as it would fear my Raptor instantly and potentially send me straight off the mountain. So I netted him and took his Carno friends out before then entering the cave. This cave did have a couple more things to be wary of, namely the Megalosauruses. But as it was daytime, they were actually peacefully sleeping, and I soon made it to the end of the cave, where after battling off the Onyx, I collected our final Scorched Earth artifact, which was the artifact of the Crag. I proudly brought all the Scorched Earth artifacts back to the island to proudly display at the Raptor paddock before setting back off to Scorched with the Raptor squad to take on the Wyvern Scar. You see, I wasn't just going to beat Scorched Earth on Gamma difficulty, not even Beta. I wanted to go all the way and take down the Alpha Manticore. To do this, however, I would first need to collect 20 Talons of each Wyvern. Now, normally if you have a Giga or something similar, you could just drop into the Scar and munch your way through. I obviously didn't quite have this luxury, so came up with a plan, where I shot Wyverns with my long neck, kited them out of the pit, and then netted them, before setting the Raptor squad upon them. This was all going pretty beautifully, until I made a classic Rampy play. I'm actually prepared. Oh no. Oh, no. Oh, no. After falling to the bottom of the scar, I was presented with no choice but to fight my way out. I netted the nearby wyverns and took them out one by one, before crying up my very bloody raptor by this point, and attempting to grapple my way out of the scar. This didn't quite go to plan, as I was anti-meshed by this wall and died. Thankfully though, upon my return to the spot, my body had now teleported back up to the top, and I had massively got away with one there. Out of the frying pan and into the night, as the Raptor army and I worked tirelessly through the night, killing wyverns and collecting talons, before we finally reached the magic number of 20 talons each. I then went drop hunting as the morning returned, and grabbed myself an Ascendant shotgun from a gold drop with a ring around it. Now, drops on Scorched Earth, if you don't know, are far superior to those on almost all maps. I then ran into a 170 Alpha Fire Wyvern and swiftly ran in the opposite direction, although I was soon stopped in my tracks by a sandstorm, which was slightly unfortunate. The Raptors and I then took out some death worms out in the desert in order to gather some black pearls, which we needed to make some absorbent substrate, which was then needed to make gas masks to fight the Manticore. With the black pearls retrieved, back on the island I made myself some sap taps to place down on the sap trees before doing some quick metal farming with my new chainsaw that I got over on Scorched. With the chainsaw I was getting about 100 scrap metal from each tech raptor I sacrificed, which would do me very nicely. Of course, the great thing about scrap metal in comparison to regular metal is that it doesn't halve when smelting, so this would be 102 pure metal ingots when cooked up in my forges. In the redwoods I placed down my sap taps and then made myself a pair of gas masks. I also mind wiped and went with this selection of stats ahead of the Alpha Manticore fight. I grabbed the old boss raptors who had nicely healed up from the tech cave, as well as the needed artifacts, before heading over to Green Obelisk to upload myself, as I couldn't currently make a transmitter. Over on Scorched Earth I threw out the raptors and prepared for battle. I had some shotgun ammo, gas masks and med brews, all the key ingredients you need for this fight. Yet as I entered the arena and started the fight, I began to think that I'd come in very underprepared. Ooh, what's up? See, when I did this challenge with mantises, the Manticore did not like to do its torpor attack. Oh, okay, hang on. Get it, Raptors. All right. He didn't like to do his torpor attack when the Raptors were around this platform. Let's see how that goes. I probably should have bought a stimulant. Get him, there we go, there we go. What was that? Alright, Raptors. This way. This way. That wasn't as much as I was expecting, guys. Oh my word. Ow. Let's take these death worms out. Oh. Fine. Get him, Raptors. $142k. It's going to be a battle for the ages. How much damage does the shotgun do? 200 damage? Not great. I have just seen McQueen's torpor. McQueen has got to survive. Does the torpor go down in the soul ball? Does anyone know? I had to soul ball McQueen back up to stop him from passing out, and I was starting to regret some of my choices. The Raptor's torpor was getting extremely high, and my gas mask durability was running low. Still, I kept on going, and eventually the Manticore decided to take less interest in me, and some interest in the other Raptors around the arena. I'm not moving. I am not moving. Good. He's getting too many. I need to switch Raptors here. There we go. He's fighting a one-on-one Raptor. Get him, Raptors. Go on, Raptors. Go on, Raptors. Hey, up. Don't move. Just don't move. Just do not move. Do not move. The Raptors. You beautiful things, Raptors. I'm not even going to get these ones to aggro. The golems have spawned. 20k. 20k. 15k. No, please. Please. Let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Raptors. With the Alpha Manticore and Scorched Earth taken down in record time, I set about preparing for tech tier over on the island. To make a replicator, however, I would first need to collect a ton of stuff, starting with crystal. So I took my raft over to the mainland to start with and harvested all the available crystal from the lava cave in there. I then slaughtered a ton of tech raptors for the metal and melted it up in my lovely little industrial forges. Next up, it was time to gather the black pearls, and for some strange reason I decided the best way to get this was by killing this Alpha Tuso that was located under Carnivore Island. Why I thought this was a good idea with my raptors, I have no idea, although initially it did all look quite promising. I brought a small army of raptors down to the depths with me, and while the Tuso grabbed me or another raptor, the rest attacked it and quickly started to take its HP down pretty rapidly. However, the problems began when the Tuso's HP started to get really low, and he performed his classic ink attack, which blinds you and makes you extremely slow while also draining your stamina. This was a bit of an issue, as I'm sure you can imagine that the Tuso when running away was far faster than my swimming raptor army. While hopelessly chasing the Tuso around the ocean, we made lots of new friends, including these eels and jellyfish, who helped to make this a completely miserable experience. Eventually though, we did manage to pin the Tuso into a corner and dispose of him. As well as the black pearls, I collected his taxidermy for our Hall of Fame, as he would be a nice little addition. After taking the Tuso out, I found myself over on Carno Island, right next to an Alpha Rex, so I decided to take him out for the taxidermy collection as well, as my raptor army absolutely demolished him. I still needed a few more black pearls, so I popped down into the depths of the ocean one last time, where I took out a few Euruptorids for the last pearls. I now finally had all the resources needed to make the replicator, so after making it, my focus turned to where to place it. As I had made the S Plus replicator, I was able to go into the settings and change the size, which made it nicely fit between my forges here. It was now time, before we took on our next map, to up the stats of our raptors. The original raptors that we had in the first video had served their duty, but it was now time to mutate them further. If you do want to see how I do my breeding, I would recommend watching either the previous 100 days video or some episodes from my Raptors Evolved season, as I go into a fair bit of detail there. I mutated for many a day in search of 100 points in health and 100 points in melee, and we hit that in health first before having a bit of an accident. After using the opportunity of such an accident to level a raptor, which is how I level almost all my raptors, we finally hit the 100 points in melee as well, as it was now time to take a break from the breeding and head on over to Ragnarok. So I had set my eyes on the Alpha Ragnarok boss fight, mainly as before I could go to Aberration, I needed to make sure that I had the transmitter engram unlocked so that I could go back and forth from Aberration. It would of course also give me the opportunity to play what I think is one of Ark's best maps, despite being one of the first ones to be released. The first artifact we had to retrieve here was the Lava Golem Cave, and I had done the unforgivable thing of not bringing enough grapples. I looted a couple of drops and then went deeper into the cave. We obviously wouldn't be fighting the lava golem in this cave with raptors, and instead we just wanted to grab the artifact of the hunter, which would require the usage of my grapples to get. Right, I might have to try and jump this, because I've not brought enough grapples. Oh god. It's a fantastic start. It really is. It's breathtaking, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know what we got over there? We're only using 2 grapples. Look at these drops. Oh, well, that's just an absolute flop, isn't it? You're joking me. I'll have 1 grapple left to get home. 1 grapple and a dream. Oh my god. Okay, we're stuck. After running out of grapples using my last one to save me from falling off a cliff into lava, I was faced with the daunting prospect of performing some perfect parkour. Luckily for me, I clearly put my parkour boots on that day. After getting past the parkour, I threw my raptor back out and got out of the cave as soon as I could. The next artifact was an easy one to get, which was the Artifact of the Strong, which is found behind this mineable rock right here, hidden away, but is of course certainly one of the easiest artifacts that you can get on Ark. The next one after that, however, was not quite so easy. It was the Artifact of the Devourer, found on the bottom of the Tuso Trench. With my raptor army backing me up and dealing with the Tusos, I raced to the bottom of the trench and managed to get myself the Artifact of the Devourer. Resurfacing with my raptors all safely balled up, I now had to go to a place which I dreaded the most, Life's Labyrinth. Now, the first section of this hellhole isn't too bad, as it involves you typing the word gratter and then doing some parkour, and as we have just seen, I am clearly the parkour master. However, the next section couldn't have been any less fun. Here, if you take just one step out of place, you end up being set on fire, which pretty much one-shots your armor by the way, and will one-shot you if you don't have any armor on at all. There are 2 entrances in this bit, which means that you actually have to do this labyrinth twice. If only I hadn't made that stupid rule where I have to get every artifact on the map that I would do the boss on, which meant that every artifact for the Ragnarok boss fight had to be got on Ragnarok. It would have certainly made this challenge way easier for my mental health if I'd been able to get this on the island, for example. The sacrifices I make for some great content for you guys. Eventually, I decided to go through the first door, only to realise that you need scuba for this bit, and I had left my scuba set at my spawn point. I tried to swim down it without scuba, but died not too far from the surface. So I died, respawned, and returned to scuba, gathering my stuff before advancing further into the cave, where I rounded a corner and found what felt like every single hostile creature on Ragnarok. I then performed my favourite, you guessed it, parkour, which took me an unforgivable amount of time, it has to be said, before grabbing the artifacts of the Skylord at the end, as my reward. I then had to sacrifice a baby raptor at the end to get this last door to open, which led me to a mini boss battle of sorts, where you fight about 5 ghost direwolves and dire bears. After you defeat the boss, which wasn't too difficult, it opened up the barrier, which led to the artifact of the devious and the artifact of the massive. At this point, I should have been relieved, but I wasn't, because I had to go back into the labyrinth again to do the other side. The first section of this side involved me doing some parkour, before then taking on a host of critters. Thankfully, I was happy to say that this side of the labyrinth was slightly easier and shorter than the other side, so after fighting my way through the cave, I picked up the artifact of the clever, and then got out of there as quick as I possibly could. The next cave to visit was a cave that I always knew as Dark Cave, because, well, it's pretty bloody dark in here. With my flashlight attached to my shotgun, I found my way to this water area, and then grappled up and got myself the artifact of the cunning, another pretty simple artifact, which after Life's Labyrinth was a nice change of pace. Now, this cave, I believe, is technically exactly the same cave as the next one I visited, and they are linked in some way, but the entrance that I used was in the swamp. Similar dangers in this cave, including lots of megalosauruses, but with the help of my flashlight, I soon managed to locate the artifact of the immune. The next cave we had to visit is one that I'm sure some of you have been waiting for, which is of course the Iceworm Queen lair. Near the entrance, after going what I believe is the flyer entrance, I looted a gold drop, which was pretty useless. I continued up the ramp and found a blue drop, which to be fair to it had a Journeyman Fur blueprint in it, which might be useful down the line. Just a bit further on from that drop was the entrance down to the Ice Queen's lair. It was pretty cold down here, but I had come prepared with some stews and any decent fur that I had. Now, if you've never done this cave before, it's actually one of the best places on Ark that you can come to get some good blueprints. So, before I actually went to fight the Iceworm Queen herself, I dealt with her minions and looted some of the red cave drops that can be found around this place. I then heavily messed up by falling down this waterfall which is meant to be into the Iceworm Queen fight, all while riding my raptor. The problem with this is that when you do this, the Iceworm Queen for some reason won't spawn, as you have to enter this fight on foot and then throw out your cryo dinos once it has begun to spawn. As I didn't do this, I had to leave the cave and come all the way back round to be able to spawn the Ice Queen, something which I didn't particularly enjoy doing. After wasting almost an hour of my life doing this, I reached the waterfall once more, and second time round I fell into the fight on foot, thus summoning the Iceworm Queen. I found the Queen is coming. Ah! Go! Go! Uh-oh. Ooh. Ooh, slightly unfortunate that. Oh no, I've just thrown out Lightning McQueen, haven't I? I've just thrown out Lightning McQueen. Lightning. I'm very sorry, Lightning. I'm gonna have to get on Lightning now. We can't lose Lightning. The Queen is down there, so I'm assuming like this is guys what we call a sacrifice to the Ark gods. R.I.P. baby, R.I.P. baby Raptor. You will always be remembered. You will always be remembered. What the hell? What is going on? Why can't the Raptor... Oh, Raptors, you are so stupid. In the nicest ways, lads. I think it's because he's stuck in the Diplo's body or something. Right. It's fine. Just bring him over here. Bring her. It's a her. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It is a her. Right. This way, Raptors. Right. Come on, Iceworm Queen. Over here. Oh my god, look at the speed on that. There we go. Right, see you later. Yeah, see you. Oh my word, look at her go. Nice one. After absolutely annihilating the Iceworm Queen, I picked up the 3 red drops that spawn in the room once you're done, and in one of them I actually got some Ascendant Fur gauntlets, which were pretty good. I then entered the chamber for the artifact of the pack, which is why I had to take down the Iceworm Queen in the first place. This artifact is stored alongside a sleeping Giga, which I assume is meant to be fed to the Iceworm Queen babies when they hatch. One of the coolest and most unique settings in the whole of Ark, and just a reminder, this map was made in 2017. With all the Ragnarok artifacts retrieved, I broke out of the Iceworm Queen cave and headed back home to the island, where I started to breed up the boss raptors for the upcoming Alpha Ragnarok boss battle. I also decided to mutate my weight stat up to 80 points into weight, and after combining all the stats, we made Lightning McQueen 2.0, an upgraded version of our Lord and Saviour. A quick reminder that if you do want to watch this full series in depth, you can watch the full episodes on my channel for a more detailed run through. With my boss raptors all now grown up, it was time to start the arduous leveling process, which saw me murder thousands of baby raptors. After leveling, we were looking at about 25k HP and 1.6k melee, with some more room to grow from extra passive XP. While the raptors healed back on the island, I headed back to Rag to do something I was absolutely dreading, which was farming up the needed tributes. I started in the swamp where I needed to pick up the Sarkasuka skins, as well as the Titan Aboa Venom, before returning to the Dark Cave to kill some umpteen Megalanias that you can find in there. Next up was the Fire Claws, which for some reason I farmed exclusively in the Redwoods biome, obviously forgetting that the desert is a good spawn point for them on Ragnarok. After that, I had to go to the opposite side of the map to farm some Spinosaurs, which are actually all over the canyon areas of Ragnarok, which is another beautiful place by the way. If you can't tell already, I'm a huge fan of Ragnarok and I cannot wait to see what this map looks like on Unreal Engine 5 in Ark Survival Evolved. Also, a fun fact is that when Ragnarok first released in 2017, farming Spinosaurs was ridiculously difficult. So that's why they added these spawns in the canyon, and now there is a ridiculously high number of them. With the Spinosaurs now collected, all I needed was the water tributes, which, as you can imagine with raptors, I wasn't particularly relishing. Megalodon teeth were pretty simple enough, because, they're Megalodon, they're everywhere, and they also drop you 4 teeth. But the Basilo Blubber took a while, as when you don't have a fast ocean mount to scout the water, it takes some time to locate them all. On top of that, the Mantas were also very annoying. The Tuso tentacles also weren't great, but at least they did drop 8 tentacles each, meaning that I would only need to kill 4 of them. Here on screen you can see some amazing shots of Dark Ink as I spammed the right click button and hoped that the Tuso would die in front of me before it swam away. With all the tributes gathered, I returned to the island to make some more raptor saddles. I opted to make the ramshackle ones this time, as my main worry in this upcoming fight was the fire breath attack from the dragon, which is a percentage based attack, and the torpor from the Manticore rather than just a pure DPS. It definitely wasn't because I was being a cheapskate. I have no idea what you mean, guys. It was now time to take on the Alpha Ragnarok with Just Raptors, and see if we could defeat the second Ark map of this 100 days. I have made a little bit of shotgun ammo, by the way. I didn't have that much gunpowder left in my base, so I've made as much as I possibly could. Alright. Oh, hang on, I do have a gas mask as well. I should probably wear. Right, dragon is going to land most likely any minute now. Ow. Right. Go Raptors, go. Go Raptors, go. Straight underneath him. Oh yeah. Oh, there we go. That's what we like. That's what we call good DPS. That is what we call good DPS. There's the pack buff. There's the pack buff. The pack buff's in play. 3k damage. Oh, I forgot, yeah. Ragnarok Arena, by the way. You probably can't hear over this dragon. That was crazy. That was actually crazy. Oh. Look at this thing. No words. No words. While the dragon got absolutely destroyed by the raptors and we got off to a great start, the Manticore was proving to be a much tougher obstacle. This was mainly because of its refusal to land anywhere near me, and the only way that I seemed to be able to getting it to land was by running as far away as possible from it, leaving my raptors scattered across the arena and hoping it aggroed on a poor innocent raptor. Once I had figured this out, things started to go a little bit more smoothly. Get him! I probably shouldn't have done that. It's probably the worst thing you can do, send them all in. I'll probably get up now. Oh, he's bugged. He's bugged. He's bugged! There we go. There we go. This might be it. I'm joining in. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. With the second boss of this 100 days taken down, we briefly stopped back on the island to admire the Hall of Fame room as I began to put it together. Sadly, some taxidermies from other maps seem to disappear when I logged off, but I'm guessing this is something to do with the fact I play on single player. Before going over to our final map of Aberration, I decided to chibify the OG Lightning McQueen, so that we could always have him with us on our adventures, even when he's in retirement. With limited days left on the clock, it was time to travel over to Aberration. After spawning in with my kit, one of the first things that I did was tame a light pet. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Rampy, this is Raptors only. What's going on? Well, I did this in response to a lot of comments on my Ravagers Only 100 days, where I attempted this without a light pet, and people said that it was almost too painful to watch at times. Now, of course, I didn't want history to repeat itself, so after confirming with my comment section on my Raptors Evolved series, it seemed evident that people wanted to use a light pet, so I hope you all understand that. The first cave to visit in Aberration was by far the easiest, but even the Glowtail cave located in the green zone would be no walk in the park. Now, the problem with Aberration is that there are just so many creatures that can cause you misery. Karkinos, Megalosaurus, Nameless can all cause you so much pain, but perhaps none of them are quite as famous as the Aberrant Raptor, which for some reason is the only wild raptor to have the ability to pounce you off dinos. The Glowtail cave wasn't proving to be the easiest cave to work my way through, as my raptors kept falling down to the bottom. As I hadn't yet invested in ziplines, I then had to do this little bit of parkour to get up this tree trunk, where at the top I was faced by the Aberrant Raptor, who I decided to shotgun right to the face. That then cleared a path to the artifact, and I soon got my hands on the Artifact of the Depths. After exiting the cave and returning back to the blue zone, I gathered some mushrooms as I was about to make a trip to the red zone to get some red gems. I needed red gems to make gas collectors. I needed gas collectors to make hazmat suits. These mushrooms would protect me if I ran into spores in the blue zone. On the subject of spores, after narrowly avoiding this Megalosaurus, who would have picked me and my raptor up, I ran over some spores, but thanks to this magic mushroom, we were able to make the spores redundant. I soon arrived at the area of the red zone where the radiation starts. Now, obviously the red zone is incredibly large, but there is this small area I know of that red gems spawn right close to where the radiation begins. To get the gems, I would still have to go into the radiation zone, and without a hazmat suit, this would mean that I would lose health very quickly. But if I was quick, I could be in and out of that within 20 seconds or so. That was, of course, barring no nasty surprises. Okay, that's not ideal. That's not ideal. I'm getting the boys out. I'm getting the squad out. Okay, that's more like it. That's more like it. Up the boys. Right, boys, let's go. 9 red gems. 9 red gems, go. That'll do. With the red gem secured, I successfully made it out of the radiation zone without dying, and then used some of my med brews to boost my HP back up sharpish. I raced back to base as quick as I possibly could, made up some gas collectors on the island, and placed them back on Aberration, next to my little starter hut. I had to wait a day or two for these gas spores to be ready to go, but soon I was in a position where I could make some hazmat suits, and I set about going for our next artifact. The next artifact would be quite the challenge. The cave we were off to was called Shadow Cave, a cave that I've spent a lot of time living on in PvP actually, as it's an extremely strong cave. It is, however, not the most raptor-friendly cave, shall we say. For a start, we had to do a rather dangerous run through the entire blue zone to reach the lake where Shadow Cave is located, and then faced a nerve-wracking descent into the depths, where I tried to avoid baryonyxes, eels, and all the rest of all that nasty stuff. After being pushed into the water by a Titanoboa of all dinos, I somehow managed to survive a baryonyx attack, and then took the plunge, successfully making it into the hole, swimming into the cave without being detected by any more creatures. I briefly cryoed McQueen, and then threw him back out inside the cave, using him to take out any enemies in the entrance. I then had to cryo him once more, as we go further into the cave, you're met with a crouch area. After making it through the crouch, I had to drop down into a water area, and here I had to use my zip lines and motor pants to get out. You can see what I mean about how this cave isn't exactly raptor friendly. After initially getting a little bit stuck on the rock with my second zip line, I connected it properly and got ready to take on the dreaded water sections of this cave. Yes. Yes. You're not getting me, jellyfish. I don't think so. With some sleeping bags placed down, I got ready to swim through the next section. This was incredibly dangerous, as the combination of eels, jellyfish, and sarcos was a nightmare to deal with. Lots of eels, okay. Okay. To make matters even worse, we had even lost Sack the bulldog. I had 2 sleeping bags and a dream, but surely I faced an impossible swim back to gather my stuff. I'm going to start drowning in a second. I was on neutral, but they should already be on neutral. No way! We almost made it. Second time around, while the jellyfish and eels were all aggroed on my poor Raptor rental coffee, I somehow managed to swim back through the water, even while drowning, and get on Lightning McQueen. I took out the nearby hostiles before going back to the water to see that my amazement that Rental Coffee, the absolute trooper, had taken out all the jellyfish on his own, surviving by the skin of his teeth. This gave me the opportunity to rather nervously dismount from McQueen and gather my bag which had all my stuff in. After successfully gathering that, I placed down some sleeping bags in case that we had any more nasty accidents in this cave. I then threw out an army to help me get rid of any hostiles that I could see, mainly focusing on the jellyfish and crabs as these posed the most threat to me while swimming. I continued on through the cave, taking out the jellyfish and eels that I saw. These two were the major dangers, as I described them as the 1-2 combo. You get stunned by the eels and then dismounted by the jellyfish. Difficult to come back from that, so I had to minimise the possibility of that happening. With a lot of patience and some pretty elite Raptor gameplay if I say so myself, we managed to get through the swimming section without any more deaths, and soon I found myself at the Artifact of the Shadows. 2 out of 3 down and 1 to go. That one of course was the stuff of nightmares, but we've got plenty of time to get there. First I had to get out of the Shadow Cave, which actually went as smoothly as it could have gone. I swam back through the water tunnels before using my zip lines to great effect to get out of the cave and then sprinting back on the speed machine McQueen through the blue zone, leaving those pesky megalos in the dusk. Back in the safe comforts of the green zone, I was about to prepare for the hardest challenge that we'd had so far, which was of course the radiation cave.
Oh shit, here we go again.
This cave, located in the heart of the red zone, is quite simply not meant to be done with any creature at all, aside from rock drakes, let alone with raptors. Not only is the cave full of dangers, but first I had to get there, which would be challenging enough. But if anyone could get me there, Lightning McQueen could. Now, for a raptor to survive in the red zone every 2 minutes, I would have to feed him one of these mushroom brews, which helped to add another layer of complexity to this challenge, as if I forgot, my raptor would start taking damage. With brews in hand, McQueen and I entered the red zone, where I soon encountered one of the main dangers, Palovias. There's a lot of... Okay, not ideal, not ideal. Well, we somehow survived that first Palovia attack. In truth, I had got very lucky there, as there was no Megalo or Spino nearby. I likely wouldn't survive again. We were getting close to the cave entrance now, as I weaved past jumping Palovias, buried basilisks, and even Reapers. In actuality, we weren't in too much trouble at all. To dispose of the Reaper, I just simply threw out my Raptor army, and with the help of course the new light pet, we managed to dispose of the Reaper. And of course, I didn't grab the pheromones, meaning that we would have to kill another one later to summon the boss. Silly Rampy. With the Reaper now gone, I had to cryo up all my raptors and zipline up into the cave. There is literally no way a land dino can access this cave on foot, just showing you how this cave was quite literally designed for drakes. Inside the cave, I was about to do the first jump when an earthquake hit, so I immediately dove to the floor to save my life. Dying in this cave would be an absolute disaster. I would have no McQueen to get my stuff back, meaning I was doubtful that I'd even make it back in the first place, and even if I did, it would take me hours to re-prepare. When you only have raptors at your disposal, there really is no room for error, and as I threw out my army to help deal with the hordes of dinos in here, I was very much aware of this. The main danger in this cave I had to be worried about was of course the megalos, as if they picked up my raptor, it was likely that would be curtains for me. The problem was that I kept having to get off my raptor to zipline to the next bit, which skyrocketed my heartbeat every time. After somehow surviving the hordes of enemies... Where's McQueen? I've not got McQueen! Help! Oh no, Megalos. Don't tell me they've aggroed. No, Megalos haven't aggroed. Okay, we were actually alright here. McQueen! McQueen! McQueen, no! Get the raptors out! Thank you, raptors! Oh! I then had to use my zip lines to get myself through the upper sections of the cave, where the artifact is found. This is the only way to access this artifact without a rock drake or a similar dino. If you do want to watch the full experience in Radiation Cave, the video is on my channel, so perhaps give that a watch after this video. With some very careful ziplining, I managed to navigate the tunnels of the upper section, and I found myself at our very last artifact, the artifact of the Stalker. I then rode back down my precious ziplines, careful not to fall into the pit of death that was below. The game did have one last nasty surprise for me when it decided to have another earthquake as I was perilously close to the edge, but thankfully I was on my toes and laid down with some speed that even McQueen would be proud of. It wasn't too long before I reached the entrance of the cave and McQueen and I shot off back into the red zone, while being chased by multiple Reapers, Rock Drakes and Megalos all at once of course. While dying in the red zone wouldn't have been quite as bad as dying in the cave, the clock was now ticking, and if we wanted to beat Ark Aberration within the 100-day timeline that we had set, we couldn't afford to have any setbacks. Much to my relief, despite McQueen taking an absolute battering, we successfully made it out of the red zone and back into the safety of the blue zone. I had to quickly return to the island and grab some more shotgun ammo and the newly bred boss raptors, as the ones that I had up until this point were last generation. But before we could set off for the Rockwell terminal, I would have to kill a Reaper, as I was still lacking the pheromone glands to summon the beta Rockwell. Well, the reason that I wasn't taking radiation damage here is because I was actually in the pocket of the red zone that isn't actually in radiation. However, an area that certainly is in radiation is the Rock Drake Trench, where of course you find the Rockwell summoning portal. With no other option, I plunged off the cliff down deep into the trench, jumping off my Raptor before I hit the floor, where I would then face a battle to get to the portal. With a couple of my Raptors, however, we were able to take down the Rock Drakes guarding the portal. I turned my light pet off to get some Nameless to spawn so that I could grab the Nameless venom, and then hurriedly threw out all my Raptors and summoned the beta Rockwell as fast as I could before they take too much radiation damage. This was it. The true finale of this 100 days. Despite our accomplishments so far, if we failed at the final hurdle, it really would be a bitter blow. We had a problem though. Rockwell's balls. See, the Rockwell fight in single player and multiplayer is very, very different. When Aberration first released, Rockwell used to shoot two different types of balls, some slower pink ones which hurt, but don't do quite as much, and then these red balls, which go at about 1,000,000 miles an hour and almost one-shot you. Rightly or wrongly, these balls were then removed from multiplayer. However, for some reason, they weren't removed from single player. This meant that this fight was going to be a tough one, and the key to it was, you guessed it, Lightning McQueen. Enjoy the fight. After you finished watching this absolute mammoth for the final battle, guys, make sure to go and head over to Red Shadow Legends using my link in the description to get some awesome goodies from signing up. Last one. Come on, Raptors. Let's go. How's McQueen's health doing? Not great. Not great. Right, get the HP. Get the HP. Right, now this is one of the shorter phases, so I might just shotgun him. Yeah. Oh, they've got the electrocuting tentacle over there. We don't really want anything to do with that either. There are so many balls flying about. Oh, okay. We need to deal with some of these. There we go. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go. Come on, Raptors. Oh, no. Raptors, come on. Raptors. Go! Oh, no. Raptors this way. Raptors this way. Come on. Oh, no. We're going to miss the chance. Raptors! After him! Oh, he's gonna come back up if you wait too long. All right, come on. There we go. We should have him. There we go. 30 down to 37k health. That's good. How are the Raptors doing? They're doing all right. The Raptors and Rockwell's health is about on par, I'd say anyway. Oh my god, look at those balls. Look at the state of that. Let's go. Oh, come on, Raptors. Ow, ow, ow. Okay. Right, there we go. Oh, no. Right, first of all, get this Reaper. Get the Reaper. Get the Reaper. Thank you, thank you. Ow, ow. There it is. There's the balls of doom. Oh, no. Oh, we had to reload. You guys see why McQueen was so important to this fight. Without McQueen, there is no fight. Uh-oh. Raptors, come on. Let's go. Raptors, come on. Screw the Reaper. Oh, they were too far away. I've messed up. I've messed up big time. Oh, Raptors. Come on. Raptors, go. Okay, okay. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Right, go. That one, Raptors. That tentacle. Where's the Raptors? Where's the Raptors? Oh, we've got to go and get them. We've got to go and get them all up. Raptors, I need you. Raptors, no, I need you. Let's go. Come on, Raptors, go. Please. I think it's one more. It's one more. Oh, no. Come, Raptors, come. Oh. No. Oh, my God. Oh, no. Come on. Come on. No, we're almost there. Come on. Come on, we're almost there. We're almost there. This is it. This is it. One more. Come on. Oh. What an ending. Raptors Evolved. Season 2. Complete. Starving. No armor. But once again, McQueen comes out victorious. Thank you all so much for watching my latest 100 Days with Raptors video. If you did enjoy, please do remember to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. With Ark Ascended hopefully just around the corner, we won't have too much more time for more Raptor stuff on Survival Evolved. But I can tell you this, extinction with just Raptors will happen. Meaning yes, you guys will all get to see King Titan versus just Raptors. In the meantime, hang tight, as I'm currently working on an Aberration no damage run, so I'll see you guys soon for the next video, and take care of yourself. Bye bye. A special thank you to my Patreons, including Angus Robertson, Ditch Lizard, Zachary Keever, and Faded. Thank you so much for your support.